Introduction. Welcome, my friends, to a whirlwind tour through the history of human civilizations. Buckle up, because this journey will take us from the very first humans who probably didn't even know what a roof was, all the way to the magnificent pyramids and towering temples. So, grab your time machines, and let's go, no passport required. 1. Prehistoric era. The dawn of humanity time period. Approximately 2.5 million BCE to 3000 BCE culture. Just a bunch of folks wandering around looking for food, shelter, and maybe a place to hide from saber-toothed tigers. Alright, picture this. It's the dawn of humanity. People are still trying to figure out how to make fire without burning their hair off. They're not exactly the builders of empires yet, but they're starting to get clever with shelter. They don't have IKEA, so they're forced to make do with what's around. Enter the cave, the original, open-plan living arrangement. And, to make things interesting, they also start painting on the walls. Who knew early humans were so artsy? The famous Lascaux cave paintings in France give us a peek into the minds of these early folks. Looks like they were into hunting, dancing, and survival. Then, just when we think they're happy with their cozy caves, along comes something big, literally. Enter the megalithic structures. These guys decided, caves are great, but what if we made a giant rock circle in the middle of nowhere? That's how we get Stonehenge in England, an astronomical marvel built by people who probably didn't have a clue what they were doing but were like, this'll impress the neighbors. Oh, and there's Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, which is 11,000 years old. Yes, ancient people were having a blast making things that last. And let's not forget Çatalhöyük in Turkey, an ancient village with mud brick houses stacked so close together, it was like a giant human game of Tetris. No streets, no cars, just pure communal living. People were like, hey, who needs privacy anyway? 2. Mesopotamian civilization. The cradle of civilization time period. 3100 BCE to 539 BCE culture. A bunch of early urbanites who figured out how to make laws and write stuff down. Finally, someone gets organized. Now we're jumping forward a bit to Mesopotamia, the place where things start getting really interesting. Imagine this. The Sumerians, Akkadians, Babylonians, and Assyrians are all competing for most advanced civilization status. They create a writing system called cuneiform, and believe me, it's not the kind of handwriting that gets you an A in school. It's sharp, wedge-shaped marks on clay tablets. But hey, it worked for record keeping and even poetry. And speaking of records, they create the Code of Hammurabi, basically the world's first rulebook for society. You steal something? Prepare for some serious consequences. You break someone's tooth? Oh, you're paying up. The real showstopper, though, is architecture. The Mesopotamians thought, why build just a normal temple when you can build a ziggurat? These giant stepped structures were designed to reach the heavens, because, well, the gods needed to be close to the action. The Ziggurat of Ur was a towering masterpiece, built so tall that it was basically a, hey, look at us, to anyone nearby. But wait, there's more. The Ishtar Gate in Babylon, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, was so beautiful that even today, people still go, wow, when they see it. It was adorned with vibrant blue glazed tiles, featuring lions, dragons, and bulls. If ancient Mesopotamians were into fashion, the Ishtar Gate was definitely a statement piece. Oh, and did I mention that the Mesopotamians invented urban planning? Yeah, they figured out grids before it was cool. They said, let's make cities with streets that don't make people walk in circles for hours. Talk about next level efficiency. 3. Ancient Egyptian civilization. The land of pharaohs time period. 3100 BCE to 30 BCE culture. A civilization obsessed with life after death, which led to some extra grand tombs. Alright, folks, brace yourselves. We're heading to ancient Egypt, where the people were so serious about their afterlife that they built pyramids, monumental tombs so massive that even modern engineers go, how did they do that without cranes? The Great Pyramid of Giza, for example, is so perfectly aligned with the stars that it feels like the ancient Egyptians were secretly building observatories in addition to tombs. Can you imagine being a worker and thinking, you want me to move these giant stones how far? And yet, they pulled it off, proof that when you're working for a pharaoh, you probably didn't argue. The Egyptians didn't just do tombs, though. They were the temple builders of the ancient world. The Grand Karnak and Luxor temples were constructed with colossal stone columns, each one taller than your average skyscraper, probably. These temples weren't just for looking pretty, they were designed to honor gods like Ra and Osiris. And let's not forget the intricate hieroglyphic carvings, because if you're building a temple, why not add some pretty pictures to tell the story? Oh, and here's the kicker. They didn't just build things, they designed their whole society around their culture. After all, Egypt's culture wasn't just about building grand structures. It was also about making sure that your pharaoh had the most fabulous tomb possible. So much so that they were buried with everything they could possibly need: furniture, jewelry, even a full-on fleet of boats to navigate the afterlife. Talk about an over-the-top going-away party. Conclusion. So, from humble caves to grand pyramids and ziggurats, the story of human civilizations is one of creativity, determination, and a bit of showmanship. Whether it's early humans crafting their first shelters, the Mesopotamians creating the blueprint for cities, or the Egyptians building tombs that could withstand the test of time, each civilization contributed something remarkable to the world of architecture and culture. As we move through history, we see how each civilization didn't just build structures, they built their futures. And if history has taught us anything, it's that humans have always been really good at making things last, whether that's a massive stone monument or a killer architectural idea. And here's the best part. Their legacy is still here, influencing how we design, build, and live today. So, the next time you look at a skyscraper, a well-planned city, or even your own house, remember, you're living in the grand architectural legacy of civilizations that were doing it long before Pinterest boards made designing your dream home a thing.